Sean, hey, congratulations for Camp Hideout.
Thank you so much.
Such a delightful, funny film, but we want to hear that what attracted you and how you got on board this project.
Well, for me, summer camp has always been a big part of my life. And I had done a film called Freddie and Max Winslow, and the producer Jason Brown, he reached out to me and he said, I have the summer camp movie. And I read the script and I just started having this nostalgic feeling for all of my old summer camp experiences. And to me, as a father of two boys, it was like the perfect kind of melding of, you know, the idea and doing something that, my kids could see. And then to top it off, my wife wrote the last draft of the script. And so she brought in a lot of her own personal summer camp experiences. And even recently, I took my own son, my youngest, to summer camp on Catalina Island. And I kind of got to relive the making of the movie while I was there. I was like, I remember this from the movie and this. And, so it's always been a big, big part of my life. And I think, for families, I think it's really great to be able to share this experience with them as well.
It sounds like this I want to say genre, but sort of more like a line of movies that are for young folks and families together to watch is something in your wheelhouse.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of, the Amblin movies of the 80s, the movies like E.T., Back to the Future, Goonies, The Sandlot. Those are movies that I've introduced to my kids and have really been excited to kind of see the joy on their faces when they watch those types of movies. So, I've been striving to, do those types of movies as well as other genres, but those are movies that I've really enjoyed making. And I think it's like, you start to have that nostalgia. You start to kind of relive that youthful experience of like, oh my goodness, like I'm making a movie that my whole family can watch and friends can watch. And, for us, making this type of movie, it was just, it's a very personal thing, being a parent, but, just sharing in that experience has just been so, so fun.
Now, the old saying in Hollywood is to never work with children and animals. And in your career, you've done both.
Yeah.
So what is the secret of handling something like that for your films?
Patience. No, I think, you know, like with this particular, with Camp Hideout, we arranged and we found an incredible cast. And I think there's like 11, maybe more, kid speaking roles. And a lot of these kids, they had never been on a film set before, but they auditioned amazingly well. And, it's always been fun because you're at the kind of the start of their career. They're excited and enthusiastic about it. They work really hard, and I've had just great experiences working with kids. And our lead actor Ethan Drew, he's an up and comer, and he just did a fantastic job. And you're looking at one of the things that we really wanted to do with this movie too is, you always see a lot of these like high school movies where there's like a 25-year-old playing a high schooler. This, we really, really wanted to make sure that the kids in the movie were kids, and most of them are around 15 years old, but they're very smart, they're very fun, they're very enthusiastic, they're very willing to try anything. And that's always been kind of my favorite part of it is working with young people that really are enthusiastic about the craft of making films.
Now, of course, like a film like this, the camp itself is a character. Could you talk about the location of the camp and woods around it, and was it challenging to film it there?
So we filmed at Deer Run and Franklin, Tennessee. It's an incredible camp. It's a very big camp, and it was a challenge, but it wasn't. The location was so accessible by car and by golf cart. Like we had golf carts that would bring the actors to and from their trailers. And so we had a very, very good infrastructure in order to make the movie and to get to some of these locations. Like some stuff looks like it's really far away from a road, but when you actually film it, it's like 3 steps away. So we always looked for things that were very accessible. There's a sequence in specific where we did a paint gun scene, and at the real camp, it's at the top of this hill, and it is a hike to get to that hill. And so we decided, instead of having to bring everybody up there, that we brought the paint gun area down to a nice lower level that was very accessible. And our production designer, Will Drummond, and his team did a fantastic job in creating that from scratch.
I'm curious, was this a closed camp at the time?
No, it wasn't. Most of it was closed, but there was some, they did have some events, and we had some moments where you could hear some loud things going on in the background. But most of that happened, luckily for us, while we were shooting our stunt scenes. So we didn't really need, we were going to put all the sound in afterwards for the most part in that. But yeah.
Could you tell us about the creative designs of the traps? I mean, this remnants of, for a lot of people, like Home Alone.
Well, we wanted to make something that was really indicative of, what would be at a summer camp, the thing. And for us, we had a lot of the traps and everything scripted out. But then once we got to the camp and decided on the specific location, we altered it to kind of fit, what the camp was. Like you have that stairway sequence where they're slipping and sliding. And that was a sequence that we refined as we were there. And it's a testament to our stunt coordinator, Jennifer Badger, who is insanely awesome at her job. She is at the top of her game. She's done a bunch of A-list movies, and she had we would walk through it, and she would build off of the ideas that we had, and she would come up with different ideas or different types of actions that we didn't even know that the actors were going to be able to do. And so she was just it was such a blessing to have her as part of the team and to work with her.
I know. I do feel for those bungling villains in your film. I mean, you actually put your actors through the ringer in something like this.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, some of the actors did some of their stunts, but for the most part, we had doubles, especially for the two Talari bad guys, and our doubles were just fantastic. They were so game to do a lot of the things. There were things that I saw them do. I was like, oh my gosh, you got like, we'll just do that in one take. And they're like, no, we can do it again. I was like, that looks dangerous and that looks like it hurts. But I think also at the core of our film, we have the hijinks, we have the comedy, but we also have a lot of heart in the film. And we also have that, the arc that our Noah character goes through that really, is an emotional arc and has a really good message for young people and parents to talk about when they get home, that it's, not too late to make new friends and to change and to that people, have your back.
Well, one more thought before I go, Sean, is Christopher Lloyd is a national treasure, and tell him about working with him briefly on a film like this.
So there's this one scene that I was excited about, and I think audiences are going to love. And Falco comes out and he blasts this air horn, and he lets it go for about 15 or 20 seconds. And he's interrupting this food fight. And, he's the counselor, he's the owner of the camp that, is very structured. He's very militaristic in his structure. And he lets out this classic Christopher Lloyd monologue, very animated and enthusiastic and as big as you would want a Christopher Lloyd moment to be. And when we were filming it, when he was done, the entire cast and the entire crew erupted in applause. And I'd never seen this in a movie before on set. And, it just goes to show how beloved he is. He was so great with the young cast. He was so great to talk to. He was so great to develop the character. And I mean, to me, as a fan of a lot of his work growing up, it was an absolute pleasure, an honor to, add this movie to his filmography, but to work with him as well.
Well, we love that guy, and audiences will love Camp Hideout. Sean, thank you very much for this talk. Hopefully, we get to do this again.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.